Hi everyone, welcome back to the next part in this little series of building a brand in my little way. But today is going to be all about turning the brief into sketching. And I really just wanted to kind of show you a little bit of my process in this. So without further ado, I think the best way to get started is just by going. So let's get started. Okay, so it's kind of usually my little setup. I usually stick with Sketchbook, and lately I have noticed I love when they have those little graph dots, where it just kind of keeps everything a little bit organized. I can make straight lines a little bit better, and it just helps with the overall feel of the project. But without further ado, let's get going. What I like to do is have the brief right next to me. That way I can kind of look back. So I already made sure to include the brand name and kind of just an overview.
Need to this test.
Just say
I think like
so this is pretty much my sketchbook from the top view. I always start out with a little bit of lists indicating 5 points that I want to try to get across when designing the logo. But as you can see, just kind of starting out just with some basic ideas. The true goal when sketching is to create something kind of fast
because the mindset is when you draw a logo, it should automatically kind of hit the viewer. Basically, like when they're passing by. A good example of this is the golden arches in McDonald's. As soon as you see the little yellow, you know, hey, that's McDonald's. And you kind of want to emulate that when designing a logo for whatever business. It has to be almost instantly recognizable. So what I like to do is just kind of start off with basic things that just pop in my head and kind of go about how to kind of transform into something hopefully cooler. But yeah, so this is so far my process. It's just kind of getting ideas as fast as possible. I usually give myself about 20 to 35 seconds to create a little sketch. That way, as long as it's recognizable and easy to redo in Illustrator and kind of meets the certain requirements that I listed above, then it's a good sketch. Edit that out. But as we go further along, I'm looking more and more on the form. And excuse my camera real quick. I don't know what the lighting situation is going about, but overall, just trying to create different things that emulate the lightning bolt and the letter T, and just kind of trying to figure out different versions of how to create. As you see on the view facing towards me, I tend to usually have another screen. I work in a double screen, and I use one of the screens for like research, trying to figure out like different ways to get like a lightning bolt or how that T could possibly fit into the T. And I kind of really tried to focus that on this one, considering in the brief itself, it did say they kind of want to stick with a lightning bolt feel to it, but trying not to be super cliche about it. I'm trying to combine the two. And I write little notes too, just kind of on some of the designs. Maybe something might come out of that, but for the most part, just trying to get everything trying to get everything from my brain to paper and just kind of working quickly but efficiently too. It's just not putting things on the paper that don't make sense. It all relates to one another. A really good tip that I got actually when I was in university is don't hesitate to think outside the box. Honestly think of all these as shapes rather than the actual symbols themselves. That way your mind doesn't truly block itself. And I find that to be really helpful, is just thinking this is just simple shapes in different ways. That way you can kind of see how everything kind of fits together really nicely. But yeah. There's always going to be a few ideas too that don't work out. As you can see, there's some that I just kind of decided to cross out. I also kind of wanted to try like different things that relate to like upcycling and kind of keeping it down to earth, and just kind of thinking a little bit into the brief as well. And really, I mean, the trick is just to put everything on. Don't be afraid. This is a good little spot where you can just explore and don't have to really worry about anything that might get in its way, or yeah, just kind of explore and see what you can kind of come up with. I am going to cut this one a little short. Usually I would say I fill up both sides of the sketchbook. However, with time constraints, because I'm in a little bit of a time crunch right now, I am going to make the drawings a little bit bigger. I would say I get up to, I want to say 50 drawings to kind of get everything out on the board. I'm probably going to keep it a little low today because of time constraints, but overall, I'm really happy with the sketches that I got. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this little process.
Does it with the sketching portion of this video. I actually am really happy with the sketching portion. There's a few things that I'll probably do not in the background, just because there's a few things that I kind of want to see if I'm about doing, so next time you see the next video, I might be putting a few other little drawings down to kind of implement a design that kind of corresponds to the that incorporates the sustainability and the that includes subtle nods to sustainability and independence, but I'm trying to avoid some cliche stuff, so that's kind of become a little bit of a tricky little thing. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what I got so far. So in the next video, I will go ahead and put some of the designs into Illustrator. I'm actually going to pick 3 and kind of refine the sketches. That's kind of the next step that I usually would do. But I might just put the whole thing and just kind of go from there into Illustrator, just to kind of see about what I can come up with in there as well. Because believe it or not, here's a little bit of a tip. Sometimes when you do designs, they don't translate very well into Illustrator, and then you kind of have to think a little bit outside the box in terms of trying to figure out what can work and what cannot work, especially if these are going to be on clothing, so they're going to be embroidery, so we got to kind of keep that in mind. Overall, again, really excited about this project. It's been coming a little challenging, but in a good way, and thank you guys for joining me. Please like and keep watching those videos, because I will have more and more videos that will include this and a few others that I have in mind. Thank you guys again. You guys have a great day. Peace.